peace, man. So,
shout out to him though. Anyways, Sylvan, are you mad today, bro?
I'm
Are you chilling?
I'm not mad today, man. I'm concerned today.
What you concerned about, baby? What you concerned about? Kendrick Lamar? Because Drake is on his head.
I can't believe the group chat really went so crazy yesterday. A big part of it is me. I was
They're still melting down right now.
That's crazy.
They are
Really?
at this minute. They're melting down.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, man. Bunch of gold,
bunch of TDE boys,
post movers, man. Like, look, I have this story I want to tell, right? I remember back in 2024, 2014, my bad. 2014, 10 years ago, I was running around with a rapper that you guys might know named Logic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before Logic is the Logic that we know now, Logic was a budding MC with a lot of promise and a lot of excitement, and a lot of people were looking forward to his debut album. And I was running around with this guy, and he taught me a lot. He taught me how to tour. He taught me the importance of understanding fan bases and how to nurture them, and he taught me the importance of work ethic. I will, to this day, I don't think I've ever met an artist who works harder than Logic. Anyways, around this time, I was an artist and I was touring with him. Things were going great. I was being managed by his manager, right? Now, I had just dropped this project called Searching Sylvan, and it had done fantastic.
Classic.
It's a classic mixtape. It had done fantastic. It finally put me on the map. I felt like I had this fan base that I could really tap into, and I was very, very excited about it. But I was ready to do everything else. I was ready to do press and, interviews, and I wanted to continue promoting my album and drop a bunch of videos and stuff or whatnot. Like, I wanted to ride high on this album. And I remember, I'll never forget this. My manager at the time was like, yo, bro, I think you should get back in the studio and start working on your next album right now. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I just spent a year and a half putting together, this body of work. And he was just like, yeah, man, I just think you need to be ready. You need to be ready to keep going. And it's a marathon, man. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I didn't agree with him. I thought he was tripping. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, you're bugging. This is insanity. And I didn't like it so much that I was just like, you know what? I'll go and do my own thing. And I left. I left my management at the time, and, I separated away from Logic. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to go do my own thing. Now, there were other reasons why I left as well, but a big crux of that was just the fact that I wanted more power for myself. I wanted to see what it felt like to just do the things that I wanted to do. And I got myself busted. I'm not going to front. I got out there. I started trying to do all different types of things, like hitting radio interviews and trying to promote this project. And after about 6 or 7 months, I realized, okay, I got to get in the studio. And that's when I got in the studio, and that's when I changed my name, and that's when I started recording this music. And my next project didn't come out till 2 years later. And you know what? It didn't do as good. In fact, it wasn't nearly as successful. And a big part of that reason was because I did a bunch of stuff that I thought was best for myself. I changed my name. I didn't work on music nearly as much as I thought I should have. I was running around trying to enjoy the fruits of my labor, and I felt the effects of that immediately. I had a little bit too much power. I was not adhering to the advice and the wisdom of someone who had already done this multiple times. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because that's how I feel about wrestling fans in the IWC right now. I feel like the IWC and wrestling fans have too much power. And I feel like it's not good for wrestling booking. Let me explain. WrestleMania 41 is on our heels now, right? And I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared for what's about to happen this year. Because WrestleMania 40 was supposed to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. We had it. It was in our hands, and it was snatched from us. It wasn't snatched from us by Vince McMahon. It wasn't even snatched from us by Triple H or WWE. It was snatched from us by us, the fans.
Indeed.
We cried. The Cody crybabies, we went crazy. We said we don't want Rock versus Roman. Cody should be able to finish his story. He should be able to go against Roman again at the main event. We downplayed our world heavyweight champion. We created a convoluted tag team match for the first night of WrestleMania. And we got what we wanted with Cody Rhodes winning against Roman Reigns. Now, it is too early to say if Cody Rhodes is going to have a great reign or not. And I don't really know what this reign with Cody Rhodes looks like. I just know that for one of the first times in history, I'm not going to say the first, because we all saw Daniel Bryan, but one of the real first times in history, we saw fans hijack a pay-per-view, not just a pay-per-view, the biggest pay-per-view booking decision making ever.
The Super Bowl of
The Super Bowl of this thing.
We
And
hijacked it.
we got what we wanted. We did. We got exactly what we wanted. But what does this tell us about the future of WWE? How much power should us fans really have? Do we really know what's best? I think back to John Cena. John Cena at one point was the most hated man in wrestling history. And if we had our way, John Cena would have turned heel, started wearing all black, and turned into a muscle bound evil villain that choked people to death and said, I lie, I cheat, I steal, instead of hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Wait, that might have been fire. I don't know, bro.
That's my point. You know what I'm saying? That's my point. But what we failed to realize was that during this time, WWE was going through one of the worst creative periods. And if John Cena had decided to go heel, then where does the money come from? Where does the merchandise sales come from? Who puts on the main events? Who comes to see this guy? Because all the kids were coming and buying tickets, and parents were buying tickets, so much so that it turned into the PG era.
Yep.
I think about Roman Reigns, how much we hated this guy for no reason other than the fact that Vince McMahon was basically saying, this is the guy that we're going with. If we had it our way, he would have struggled for 2 to 3 years and climbed his way up to be able to be the WWE champion. And if that would have happened, we would have never got the beautiful mistake of our tribal chief and had one of the best reigns in wrestling history, right? I even think about the opposite of this scenario, right? Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, who was poised and chosen by people, the fans, to be the number one guy. This guy literally hijacked a WrestleMania, very similar to what happened with Cody Rhodes, and won it all against all odds. Beat Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista in the same night, only for him to be injured the next night and have to forfeit the title.
And let's not forget, the minute that he was able to leave, he skated quick.
He got out of here, bro.
Yeah.
He got out of here, bro. Like, completely got out of here. And so why do I bring up all of these topics? I bring up all these topics because as much as I am giving credit to Vince, because Vince did make all these decisions and whatnot, I'm not saying Vince is the best at this entire thing, right? Vince has made a lot of horrible decisions, a lot of things that we probably should not look back at, right? But there's one thing that separates Vince from fans, and that's that Vince is in the business. Vince has done this before. Vince has an extended amount of history in this. And at the end of the day, Vince knows more than we could ever know as fans watching the product. And that's just a fact. That's not a spoiler. That's not some speculation, right? It comes down back to my story. Yeah, I was a rapper. I had done some things here and there. But I was literally going against the guidance of someone who has done this before and said, you know what? I don't agree with you. I want to do my own thing and I want to have my own power. And I suffered because of it. I really don't know. I really don't know if this is good for wrestling booking. fans feeling like we have too much of a voice. Yeah, it starts cool right now. We want Cody. Well, I get it. We get what we want to a certain degree. But Triple H, as much as we give a lot of slack to Tony Khan for being a panhandler and just seeming to do whatever his audience wants.
Call this man a
Bro said
panhandler.
panhandler.
He's a panhandler, bro. As much as we give him slack for that, I mean, Triple H likes to be liked, man. He's a real I want to be liked guy. He wants to be seen as someone who is doing the right thing. And I don't know how good that is for business because we are not good wrestling bookers, man. And right now, I feel like we have way too much power. And as far as I'm concerned, it's starting to concern me. Please convince me otherwise, my brothers. Am I tripping? Am I seeing too much into this?
It looked like your laces are tied and you are not tripping, my brother.
I'm just saying, man.
Because
Barf?
Are you barking?
Barf? That's my
he said
Barf? Like what?
The fans,
I don't know if I agree with y'all.
I don't know, man. The fans do have too much power. We were literally witnessing one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. And I say this to say, I believe the same thing happened with Big E, man, when he won the title and the hype died down very fast because they didn't know where to go with it. And I feel like Cody needs to be booked very carefully. I don't think we're the best bookers because we don't know what's best for the business and the product. That's just me. Like, what's next for Cody? We don't know what's next for Cody. I feel like he's just a placeholder at this time. We've seen the promos.
Placeholder?
We've seen the promos this week.
First of all, that promo was fire.
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything because
that promo was aight.
It's too early, bro. It's too early.
The open mic night joint, he was just calling back his girl Brandy's promo in AEW. Like that's all it was.
The story is finished. What's next?
A new story, baby. I mean, obviously they're building towards The Rock versus Cody. We all know that's where they're going, and it's gonna be fire. All right, look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, dog. I'm about to be honest with y'all. Both of y'all smoking meth right now, dog.
Are smoking.
Like I get where y'all coming from, but to me, it just sounds like y'all really wanted to see The Rock versus Roman, and now y'all upset about it, which is crazy to me because I was the one that was on The Rock versus Roman train from the jump, and y'all kind of disagreed at one point. But now it just sounds like y'all are upset that we didn't get that, and I get it. I wanted to see it too, but at some point, it's okay to give the fans what they want to see. If we're asking for something and we're demanding it, what's wrong with giving it to us? Sometimes we do know best. Like, I get it. Vince McMahon knows the business. Triple H knows the business. Giving us too much is not a good thing. I get where y'all coming from. But let's not act like it's always home runs with Vince McMahon and Triple H. There was a time when I never said you said that. I'm just saying that, like, look, at one point, we were going to get Austin Theory as the world heavyweight champion. Vince McMahon put the money in the bank on Austin Theory, and he had all intentions on putting that world title on Austin Theory at some point. The fans didn't like it. We didn't like it. And when Triple H took over it, he changed course, and he took the money in the bank off of Austin Theory. He had him cash in on the U.S. title or something. It was kind of stupid. But at the end of the day, it got us out of the corner that Vince McMahon had booked us in. But imagine if WWE said, I don't care how the fans feel. We're just going to put the title on Austin Theory and whatever happens, happens. Do you think we would be on board with that? How do you think we would feel about Austin Theory right now if he was world champion? Just shoved down our throats. Pause. I'm asking. How y'all think we would feel about Austin Theory if he was world champion right now? Will we be on board?
Know, man. I don't know. I've always liked Austin Theory.
Come on.
I'd have been on board.
Look, I don't like Austin Theory.
We would have hated it. We would have
Oh,
ran to the internet and cried and complained because we would have hated it. So sometimes the fans do know what we want to see, and it's okay to give us that sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that let us book the show. I'm not saying that Triple H needs to hand us over the book and say, yo, have fun. Book what you want to book. But if the fans are turning their backs on something, then you got to change course.
Yeah, but what we wanted was a year ago. So for us to finally get to this place, we're here. Why change now? I feel like the fans was putting 20s on 10s at this point.
But that was WWE's fault because if Cody Rhodes wasn't going to finish the story at WrestleMania, then why have him win the Royal Rumble in the first place? Because if Cody Rhodes would have got eliminated by Seth Rollins, I'm not Seth Rollins, but If he would have got eliminated by Randy Orton or someone in that Royal Rumble and then started a feud with that, and The Rock would have came out at number 30 and won, nobody would be complaining. We would have been on board with it. But because they had Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble and then try to pivot to The Rock versus Roman afterwards, it just didn't make sense to us. That's why we were revolted against it.
It only didn't make sense to you guys because you guys felt like he should be re-challenging Roman Reigns to get his revenge back, and that's the only reason why Cody fans got into it, because they were just like, oh, well, this doesn't make sense. Why would he go against anybody else other than the tribal chief, right? That was really the reason why everybody revolted. But that's my problem. My problem is that at the end of the day, who are we to decide what makes sense and what doesn't make sense?
It's just buying. We're the consumer. We pay for the product.
We gonna watch it regardless, though.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't say that because, like I said earlier in the podcast, in 2018, when I saw what was going on with Baron Corbin dressed up in like the Roman Reigns dog outfit and Chad Gable being Shorty G running around with hoop shorts, like I was out. I stopped watching. I was no watch gang. I wasn't watching any WWE at that point. And I'm down to do it again if the product gets trash. I'm sorry.
Here's my thing. I think we have to be very cautious about what we think makes sense versus what doesn't make sense. I only think the reason this happened was because at the end of the day, we wanted to see Cody Rhodes finish his story. There's no real vision in that. There's no vision in Cody finishing his story. It's very short-sighted. It's a very narrow perspective to have. We did it for the moment, and I'm great. I'm grateful that he had his moment. But unfortunately, what is next for Cody Rhodes? It's children, right? It's basically we're giving children what they want. I want candy. I want the candy right now. Please give me the candy. I haven't had it in 10 weeks. And a parent finally gives him the candy, and the candy is basically turning them into a sugar bomb. And then they're running all over the place and accidentally hits themselves in the face. And the parent is regretting it because they know deep down that the kid doesn't need the candy right now. What they need is some good nourishment, and that maybe at another time I'll give them the candy. But Triple H caved in because he wants to be liked to the pressure, when really he should have doubled down and had Cody Rhodes go against, I don't know, Seth Rollins. But what did we do with Seth Rollins, right? What did we really do with Seth Rollins? We made him an afterthought. Put over. No. We made him an afterthought. We made the WWE.
Seth Rollins main evented WrestleMania. This was his first main event. This was his first WrestleMania main event.
Seth Rollins didn't main event.
He wrestled The Rock in the main event of Mania. How is he an afterthought?
Seth Rollins did not main event WrestleMania Night 1. He was part of the show. He was part of the show. That's
was he in the match? Was he in the match?
Who are the real main eventers of that show, bro? The Rock, Roman Reigns.
It was 4 guys in that ring,
and Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins was a guest. Let's just keep it a stack, man. Are we not going to keep it a stack? Are we not going to keep it a stack about how
we're keeping it a stack? There were 4 guys in that main event. Are we not going to keep it a stack
about how much Seth Rollins has been a complete afterthought in this entire thing? Are we not going to keep that a stack? Are we not going to?
He main evented WrestleMania, dog.
Are we not going to be honest about how we felt about the WWE World Heavyweight title going into WrestleMania Night 1? And why it's only exciting because he lost it to Drew McIntyre? And then Drew McIntyre got cashed in by Damian Priest? Are we not
great
going
job by WWE, by the way? It put everybody over in that situation.
Yeah,
great booking.
Great way to make the WWE World Heavyweight title actually feel like it's worth something, bro. Like, this is my problem, is that we want to have all of the things that we want, but we don't have vision, bro. We just know what's happening right in front of us.
In the moment.
We don't have vision.
But, okay, first off, we're ignoring a very important point in all of this. Because we're blaming it all on fans changing and Triple H folding and giving the fans what they wanted. Let's not forget, CM Punk got injured. That changed everything. Because CM Punk versus Seth Rollins was going to be, hands down, the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Don't forget about that. Forget about that.
Why is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins not good enough for WrestleMania? Why is that
because
not good
we've
enough
seen
to
it twice.
We've seen it a lot.
Oh, we've seen it twice. We've seen it
Just
twice.
like we've
So
seen
you would
Roman and
rather see
Cody
Roman
twice.
Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again twice, right?
Yeah, because
why is it not good enough?
Because
you know why it's not good enough? Because it's not what you wanted, bro. It's not what we wanted. Let's not make this more than what it is. Nobody wanted it. That's the only problem that I see. Is that it didn't? It's not that it didn't make sense. It's not that the booking situation wasn't right. It's because you didn't want it. We don't want this. We want Cody to finish his story. And now what? Now he's cutting terrible promos, referencing his wife. It's sounding like a goofy goo bear. Who is Cody Rhodes gonna be beefing with now? What are we gonna do to SummerSlam? Who has he not faced? Who is he not already win against? It's boring. Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe we'll get a LA Knight feud. Two baby faces going at one another. Don't think that's going to happen. Maybe we'll just throw in AJ Styles. Would love to see that. We already know what's going to happen with that situation. It's boring. But you know what? We wanted Cody Rhodes to finish his story so bad that we couldn't look past our grievances. That we're just spoiled. Children who don't know how to book anything. And I cannot wait for the next 2 months to come by. And we get super tired of the Great White Hope, American Cody Rhodes. And we realize that he was better off chasing his story to WrestleMania 41. We can't afford to have this much power, bro. And I'm saying it as a fan. That's how I feel.
First off, thank you for that clip, because that is definitely getting clipped, man. The Sylvan crash out is back. It's back, baby. But look, dog, ain't nothing wrong with giving the fans what they want. Like, do y'all remember Cyber Sunday? That was the thing back in the day. WWE had Cyber Sunday where fans can go online and vote for the matches that they wanted to see, and WWE would give it to us. That used to be my favorite moment. Because I would definitely be online voting for Shelton Benjamin versus Chris Jericho or whatever. So ain't nothing wrong with giving the fans what they want. Let's not forget why WWE was in the dumps for so long. WWE was in the dumps because they specifically were giving the fans what they didn't want. WWE would see Zack Ryder or someone get over with the crowd and go, nah, this is not what we want to give y'all. So they would bury that person and give us what they wanted to give us, which was like Snitsky or Heidenreich. So the fact that WWE is now listening to the fans and giving them what they want, like what's wrong with that?
The problem,
I don't get it.
The problem is because
it got to be a balance, bro. It has to be a nice balance.
You know what the problem is? The problem is that we're already getting so much of what we already want.
That's not true,
bro. Come on. This past year, if the
fans would have booked WrestleMania, it would have looked completely different. We would have had Liv Morgan getting the title shot against Rhea Ripley. The tag team champions would not be Awesome Truth. It would be like Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. It would have been completely different if the fans got what they want.
Why are we watching WWE?
They gave us
why is WWE hot right now? Why are we watching WWE? Why do we call this the hottest era right now that it's ever been? Because we're getting what we want. Because we're getting what we want. Why are we? That's
not true, though. That's not true.
If we weren't getting what we want, would we be watching the product? We would be over at AEW.
So WWE is giving us a lot of what we want right now, but the reasons WWE is hot, it has a lot to do with the creative marketing that they've been doing. The Bad Bunny, the Logan Paul, the fact that they're getting content creators involved instead of Dave Meltzer and the Dirt Sheets. All of that plays a
and bringing nostalgia acts in too as well.
Yeah, like The Rock.
The Rock is he's a big piece of why this year.
That's called getting what we want. Why are y'all are agreeing with me? We're getting so much already of what we want, bro.
We weren't asking for Bad Bunny, bro. We weren't asking for Logan Paul. WWE saw the vision with that. They saw the fact that Logan Paul being a part of their promotion would bring in a lot of new eyes that maybe weren't watching wrestling before that. They saw what Jake Paul was doing over in boxing and selling out arenas, fighting celebrities from YouTube. They saw that and they got in on that and it worked. We hated it at first.
I understand what you're saying about those two things, but let's not use those two examples as to negate that we are largely getting at least 75 to 80% of what we want from WWE as a product, which is why we're watching.
That's true.
It's the truth. So if we're already getting 70 to 80%, right? 80, maybe even 85%. If we're already getting so much of what we want, it gets dangerous when we are getting scared to make wrestling fans wait and actually see long-term booking go into further effect because we don't want to upset people. I'm seeing the ripple effects. But you know what? This isn't new to me. I saw when AEW was in for the worst 5 years of their entire career 2 years ago. And people laughed at me. Laughed at me like hyenas.
Like hyenas. I
Like
knew it was
hyenas,
coming.
bro.
I knew it was
They
coming.
laughed at me, bro. And here we are. I told people, you know what? It could be worse. You could get what you want. You could get what you want. You can actually get Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And Roman can win. Or you know what? Cody can win. And then he's going to have probably one of the most lackluster runs in his entire career. We've yet to see it. Do I feel like it's coming? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But those last two promos, boy,
pretty shaky.
How shaky. I mean, this guy, where does he
what
go
was
from
shaky
here?
about it? What was shaky about that promo?
Before we go move forward, also to piggyback off Sylvan, all these NXT stars are coming to the main roster, so that's even more of what we want because we've been wanting to see Braun and all these other guys on the roster, and they finally coming.
Ilya, Dragunov,
yeah, it's a lot.
Roxanne,
we are getting.
Bro, we got Jay
man.
Cargill, bro. What are we? We are being spoon fed.
So what's wrong with that?
I'm saying what's wrong with it is that when you already are giving so much to what we already are appeasing, to what we are already wanting. At a certain point,
all right. I got it.
At a certain
At
point,
this point, we the creative team.
At a certain point, like you gotta pull back and say, you know what, this is what's best for business. Hunter likes to be liked, man.
I get what's going on here. Now that you've spoken further, I see what's happening. Cooley, I see what's happening. Sylvan is upset because Cody Rhodes won that title. He wanted Roman Reigns to break that record, and now that Cody Rhodes is champion and Roman Reigns didn't break the record, Sylvan's mad about it. He tried to mask it. He tried to mask it with this whole the fans are being given too much. But really, he just mad because Cody Rhodes is champion and Roman's not. That's really what it is.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this entire situation is that at the end of the day, I'm gonna always be right, bro. I'm gonna always be right. Like it's the craziest thing, bro. And you know what's funny? I know I'm right because our last topic was about Tony Khan. And everything that y'all have been saying about him in that last segment, I've been saying for 2 years. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. I'm being too hard on Tony Khan. You don't get it. Oh, he just needs some time. I still have hope. And now look at y'all. Y'all only see what's right in front of you. I see what's about to happen. Bro, and this is facts. This is facts. Go back to the tapes. Go back to the previous conversations we had. Go back to the previous episodes. I have been a prophet. I've been a wrestling prophet for the past year, and I don't judge any of you guys for just now seeing the light. And once again, I come to you humbly to deliver the good news and the warnings and the concerns that I see. And the real concerns that I see is that at the end of the day, we have too much power. We have far too much power. And Cody Rhodes winning in the next 2 or 3 months, it's gonna be lackluster, bro. It's gonna be very whatever. And we're gonna have to switch that title to The Rock, and we're gonna have to get the bloodline back.
SummerSlam is happening,
and we're gonna have to get that bloodline back involved because that's what puts butts in seats, not a story being finished, bro. I'm sorry.
See, look, like I said, the truth comes out.
I don't know why I got all the heat, Sylvan. Man, I'm on your side, man. I want Roman to keep the title too, brother.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Cooley. I'm just saying, like there's so many times where I've told y'all things were about to happen.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, but you ain't shooting 100% from the free throw line. You missing a lot of them too, bro. You missing a lot of them too. I mean, night one, bro. We're not even gonna get into that because that's in the rundown. But I had a prediction and I was right, and you was wrong.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little later. We'll get into that a little later. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens, dog. I do want to acknowledge, though, before we get out of this topic, I do want to acknowledge that however you feel about the fans getting their way and the title match being changed, I think we all agree that The Rock turning heel has been phenomenal. Absolutely. The most fun I've had with wrestling in probably a decade. And that doesn't happen without the fans changing that match. So if the fans don't change that match, we get babyface Rock in there cutting corny promos with Roman Reigns and, saying he loves America and jabroni and all that. So I think it worked out for the best, but we'll see going forward. Cody Rhodes is champion now. I don't know what this is going to look like in a couple months. I guess I just got to strap in, put my seatbelt on, but I'm here, baby. I'm here. I want to hear from the people at home. How did y'all feel about Cody Rhodes finally finishing that goddamn story? Was it the wrong decision? And do you think fans have too much power? Or are you like me and you think that we should just hijack the show whenever we want to, because why not? Let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video and subscribe.